Welcome to Weather and War with meteorologist Mark. Today's episode, When the Heavens Opened Up, the Rain That Drowned the Battle of Shiloh. I know many of you all are Civil War fanatics, so I hope you find this especially interesting. We're going to step back in time to April 6th, 1862. It's a Sunday. The Tennessee woods exploded with gunfire before sunrise. Nearly 100,000 Americans would soon be locked in one of the bloodiest battles the nation had ever seen, even though that battle only lasted 36 hours. But as terrible as the battle became, another enemy was about to arrive. The cold, the rain, and the mud. For thousands of wounded soldiers lying helpless between the battle lines, the storm would become just as deadly as the bullets. Today on Weather and War, we're traveling to Shiloh, Tennessee, where Mother Nature made one of America's darkest battles even darker. The Battle of Shiloh took place near Pittsburgh Landing on the Tennessee River in southwestern Tennessee. Again, this is April 6, 1862. The Civil War won't officially end until April 9, 1865. This would be a battle to wake up the nation and allow them to realize just how deadly the Civil War was destined to be. General Ulysses S. Grant's Union Army had camped there while waiting to advance deeper into the South, and they had been there for about a month. Meanwhile, Confederate General Albert Sidney Johnston knew that if he attacked first, he might destroy Grant before Union reinforcements could arrive. He will be organizing troops near Corinth, Mississippi, just south of the Tennessee border. Before dawn on April 6th, Confederate soldiers silently marched through the woods. At around 5 a.m., they launched one of the greatest surprise attacks of the Civil War. The Union Army wasn't expecting an attack. Many soldiers were still cooking breakfast. Some were playing cards, others were asleep. Within minutes, those peaceful camps became battlefields. Confusion is rampant, dense forest, smoke, limited visibility, little communication. Unlike battles fought in open fields, Shiloh was fought among thick woods, ravines, creeks, and muddy fields. Soldiers often couldn't even see who was shooting at them. Instead, they fired toward the sound of gunfire. It was so bad it was named the Hornet's Nest, mainly because of the sound of thousands of bullets flying through the air that sounded like angry hornets. And incidentally, this also took place near a church. And again, it's a Sunday, at a place called Shiloh, which means peace. And you can still see those heavily wooded areas even today when you visit the Shiloh battlefield. Now here's where the story becomes weather and war. As evening approached, something happened that no general could control. Dark clouds rolled over western Tennessee. Then came the rain, not a gentle spring shower, but a cold, soaking downpour. A weather map similar to the one you see here was probably pretty similar to one we might see for the day of this battle. Keep in mind that this is April in the South. It's spring flood season. It's also severe weather season, with those peak severe weather months being March, April, and May. That's right, they're right in the middle of the stormiest time of the year. This particular storm system would cause flooding from the deep South all the way to the upper Midwest. Rivers would swell above their flood banks, and these Union and Confederate troops were right outside in the middle of it all. They were at the mercy of nature's elements, and they would pay a heavy price for it. Indeed, early April is one of Tennessee's wettest times of the year. Warm, moisture-rich Gulf air frequently collides with cooler air moving south, and that collision often occurring right there on the Mississippi River Valley. The result, powerful storm systems capable of producing hours of steady rainfall. Exactly the kind of weather that settled over Shiloh. Can you imagine what that must have been like? We often complain when caught in the rain for a few minutes. Can you imagine hour after hour after hour of rainfall, along with the terror of an enemy who wants to destroy you. Roads would disappear beneath thick mud. Artillery wagons became stuck. Supply wagons struggled to move. Horses slipped. Cannons weighing hundreds, if not thousands of pounds became almost impossible to move or reposition. Although Civil War ammunition was fairly well protected, moisture was always a concern. Wet powder could misfire. Paper cartridges became soggy. Weapons required constant cleaning. But no one suffered more than the wounded. Thousands of injured soldiers lay exactly where they had fallen. Many couldn't move. Many had no medical care. And some were trapped right there between the Union and Confederate lines. Then the rain began to fall. Imagine lying on the cold, early April ground, unable to stand, with a shattered leg, listening to the cries of hundreds of wounded men, while cold rain falls hour after hour. And even though temperatures weren't freezing, cold rain plus blood loss equals rapid loss of body heat. Many historians believe exposure contributed to numerous deaths overnight. Hypothermia, when the body loses heat faster than it can make it. For some men, the storm was their final battle. During the storm, General Ulysses S. Grant refused to seek shelter. He stood beneath a tree, soaked to the skin, smoking one of his famous cigars. Another general supposedly remarked, "Well, Grant, this has been the devil's own day." Grant simply replied, "Yes, lick 'em tomorrow." Whether every word is exactly as remembered is debated, of course, but the story has become legendary because it really does perfectly capture Grant's calm determination. On the Confederate side, General Johnston lost his life in the battle, which was a crushing blow to Confederate morale. By morning, Union reinforcements had crossed the Tennessee River. The rain ended. Grant counterattacked. The Confederates eventually withdrew. The Battle of Shiloh shocked America. More than 23,000 casualties, killed, wounded, missing. And keep in mind, many of these men had never fought before. More casualties than all previous American wars combined. And this statistic stunned the country. People suddenly realized this war would be long and incredibly costly. The confrontation had been a slaughter on both sides. Corpse-littered areas of the battlefield to the extent that, as General Grant described, quote, "It would have been possible to walk across the clearing in any direction, stepping on dead bodies, without a foot touching the ground." Unquote. Again, nearly 100,000 troops had faced each other, and almost 24,000 ended as casualties. This horrendous outcome was a wake-up call indeed to the nation, announcing that the continuing war would be costly for both sides. This battle reminds us that weather has always been one of history's silent generals. Generals can plan, soldiers can prepare, but no army can stop the rain. One storm changed transportation. One storm changed medical care, morale, comfort. And one storm changed even survival itself. When we think about Civil War battles, we often probably think of generals, cannons, and muskets. But sometimes the greatest force on the battlefield wasn't wearing blue or gray. Sometimes it fell from the sky. I'm meteorologist Mark. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Weather and War. Until next time, keep watching those skies, because weather has always helped shape history.